Oh yes, with 35.6 we got two new weapons. As much as I want to go for this one first, I will have to go for the Sobek first because the Galaxian looks a little bit too good. The Sobek, I would much rather be using this to form the other one. Which means it's time to get a Kuva Lich. What will happen is, while you're going through this, you will not get the same weapon every time anymore. They changed it, so once you have got a weapon, the next one will be a different weapon guaranteed. That weapon will not return until you've basically gone through the entire list. So if it doesn't have what you've got, keep going. Eventually it will, and it's not going to take months of farming anymore. But it may still take a while. Way too long. Though, might you see a joke way? Well, that actually didn't take as long as I was expecting it to. Kuva Sobek. Acquired. Oh, don't forget to hold X when you're doing it. Okay, I didn't see that one. That must be one of the dailies.
We have the
And just like that, it's time to get on with the rest of the Kuva farming. Which means taking out the thralls, giving them a good requieming, and yeah, searching for the requiem is going to be annoying at best. Of course you are. Why wouldn't you? Be gone. Thank you. Now, have to take them out. On the Saturn, ugh. Real jack missions. This is what happens every time with Kuva Liches and Sisters now. You have to go do the confrontation over in real jack missions. You want to vanquish them. So make sure you vanquish. Otherwise you won't get the weapon from them. Ordis will of course find the weapon. It says the weapon blueprint. This forged weapon blueprint. It has been added to your foundry, so you guess we have to go to the foundry and oh yes, there it is, slowly rotating round. One lovely weapon. Kuva Sobek acquired. And we can take this perfect chance to go, every single aspect of it is green. The fall off has been massively improved, which the fall off is basically the range. The damage per projectile, crit chance has gone up by 10%, it's now 21 instead of 11, multiplier's gone up, status has gone up, impact, puncture, slash, everything about it has increased. But there's a asterisk on this. It may have been increased, but these things don't tend to come with polarities. Why don't they tend to come with polarities? This thing's got a capacity of 30 because as it sits, the base weapon will only go to level 30. But, yeah, it actually goes up to level 40 because all Kuva weapons will require one basic thing. And it needs 5 of them. Formas. 5 long forma later, and many playing with crit versus status, and have kind of went half and half, with blunderbuss for the crit chance, primed ravage for the crit damage. Only took it to 39.9% crit chance with a 4.8 times multiplier. We need a primed version of this mod badly. But that's fine, because what this thing is a shotgun, which means multi-shot, galvanized hell, 110% multi-shot, doesn't sound that much, but on kill plus 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds. So 140% once you've got the kill. Then it goes up 30% more after that. Only stacks up to 4 times though. But as long as you get that first kill, still better than the normal multi-shot mod. Speaking of, Vigilant Armaments, plus 60% multi-shot. Fatal Acceleration for, let's call it increased range, because it kind of takes it from the 25 to 40. Sorry, 30 to 40. No, it was right the first time, 25 to 40. And it turns it to 35 to 56. For those wondering why I didn't have that in there, well, it simply comes down to the fact that with that in there, it's 11,879 damage, but with multi-shot in there, it's 12,600 damage. I think At range, that may be... At close range, multi-shot is better. At a far range, that may be better. Projectile can be really useful, but there is no real lying here. That, for the total damage, just seems to work so much better. But base damage will obviously increase all of the damage, so it's a hard one to build. It's one mod slot short of being where it needs to be, without sacrificing that mod. However you decide to build this is completely up to you. The Sobek was an amazing weapon. The Kuva Sobek annihilated it in every single way possible. Yeah, did not expect them to actually continue the trend of better is better. They should be taking weapons that haven't been used in a long time or massively underused and do exactly this to them. Give them the Kuva or tenet treatment and they become so much better. It is just high enough up the list. I'm gonna say it. Possibly better than the comb. Considering the Kuva comb would be the closest example or competitor to this, because that is also a full automatic shotgun. It also does a lot less damage than this, but it has a fire rate that is nearly twice as fast as this. But it also has a fall off of half this. The fall off for the comb is 13 to 26. The fall off for the Kuva Sobek is 25 to 40. It has more range. The magazine, much smaller. It's 20 in this instead of 209 in the comb. The fire rate is 2.5 in the Kuva Sobek. It's 4.17 in the Kuva comb. But 385 damage for the Kuva Sobek versus the comb's 20. Hence, reluctant to turn around and say, the Kuva comb is, in fact, a good shotgun. Depending on what you're doing with it. I will put that in there because I did turn around and say it's not that good because it has a very short, minimal range to it. This kind of solves that problem. But the fact it has a slower fire rate than the comb, it may do... The comb may do 20 damage, this may do 385, but that does fire twice as fast, like 10 times longer before you have to reload it. You can do a lot of damage while you still... other people are busy reloading their Kuva Sobeks. Hence, I will reluctantly say the Kuva Sobek is only ever so slightly better than the Kuva comb, simply down to one major factor. It has a longer range than the comb does, which makes it slightly better. Which one are you going to take into a mission? Depends what you're doing, depends on the level of the enemy, and depends if you have Wisp. And Wisp can solve the fire rate problem of the Kuva Sobek being so slow. Because once you do that, this thing will fire amazingly quickly, but you may end up having to reload it a lot. Which is worth it because it still does a lot of damage. Are there better weapons out there? Tons. Are there better Kuva weapons out there? I'm not going to mention it. But, well, the Zor does exist. If you want accuracy, so does the Shakur. Technically, it does a little bit less damage according to all of the stats, but we'll still annihilate them. And let's not forget, it's not fully auto, but I'm a sucker for a heck. Plus the fact, yeah, that magazine's only 4, this is 20. Does 609 damage, this does 385. Base damage before the buffs or anything else are added to it. Yeah. This, definitely faster than the heck. Has bigger magazine than the heck, but the heck's already annihilated them by the time you get to emptying the magazine in this. It all depends on personal preference, but there is no sugarcoating it. However you want to argue, oh, this weapon's better than this weapon's better than this, and that weapon's better than this. The Kuva Sobek is an automatic shotgun that has a pretty decent range, as long as you don't put a riven mod in there that turns it into a weapon that has the same range as the comb. Kind of sucky. Has nice crit, nice status, nice crit multiplier, a nice amount of damage, and with a handful of mods, because this thing's been sitting at that damage point since former number 0. 12,000 damage, don't lie. Kuva Sobek is way better than expected. You've good hope for the weapon that came out at the same time as this, the tenet glaxion, which is where I'm off now, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.